Now let's get perhaps a very different point of view, and let's talk about law and order and division in American politics. I'm joined by the former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani. Rudy, good afternoon to you.
How are you?
Hello there, good to see you. I'm fine, thank you. I have to say, I just had this debate, with Susan Platt about the fact that under the Democrats, for whatever reason, law and order does appear to be spiraling out of control. How big a issue do you see law and order in terms not just of this election, but the health of American cities, given your background in this area?
Well, in this election, it's in most places, it's the number 2 issue. The economy is the number 1 issue. The cost of living, maybe to be more specific, that has spiraled out of control. I mean, inflation under Trump was about 1 or 2%. Under Biden, it's 8 to 9%. So you can't alibi your way out of that. People, every time you tell them there's no inflation, they go to the grocery store and they pay 5 times more than they used to, or 3 times more, 2 times more. They go check on their 401ks, and it's gone down by 10, 12% since Biden has put into effect his irresponsible policies. I mean, he's spending almost as much money as we spent during the Second World War. So, I mean, he's printing phony money constantly. But crime is the number 2 issue. And in New York, it's the number 1 issue. And it's a purely Democrat issue. It takes place mainly, if not exclusively, in completely Democrat-controlled cities. And it is, it's really hard to escape it. I mean, the records that were set last year for crime, the 17 cities that set records for murder, the highest in their history, were all controlled by Democratic mayors. And most of them had district attorneys who were elected on money that was provided, millions, by George Soros for the specific purpose of setting criminals free. So this crime wave is created exclusively by Democratic policies. Some of the states are Republican states.
Rudy, I absolutely get the points you're making about crime, and it's linked with Democrats. There is no doubt that there is much truth in that. You recently called out for the radical left to stop trying to divide Americans. But interestingly, many on the left would say that Donald Trump and you have done much on the other side of the debate to divide America. So come on, who's right, who's wrong?
Well, I would say the reality is for the 1 or 2 attacks that they give tremendous attention to that really are not from Trump. This last attack on the Pelosi home, we don't know what this man was. He's described as neighbors as a left-winger. He's a supporter of Black Lives Matter. He's a supporter of the gay and lesbian movement. He's a nudist activist. Very few MAGA people are nudist activists. And he also is angry at the Democrats. But there are, in fact, many more attacks by Democrats on Republicans. 2 people beat the heck out of Marco Rubio canvassers just 2 weeks ago. Lee Zeldin was almost killed while he was giving a speech. And then a week later, there were shootings outside of his home with his children home. Nobody pays attention to that. The gubernatorial candidate in Illinois has had specific death threats, and he's had to be put under protection. Carrie Lake's office, she's running for governor of Arizona, big, strong candidate, terrific candidate. She's just got white powder delivered to her office. An 18-year-old Republican, young man who was delivering things. In North Dakota, this guy ran him over, and he ran him over because he said that radical Republicans should be allowed in his area. And this is going on at a rate of...
This is all, I mean this is all terrible.
The attacks
all of this is terrible.
Terrible.
Rudy, I've got to ask you.
Criminals in our country is the Democrat Party. If you were to take a poll among criminals, 90% of them would vote for the Democrats.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, hang on, they can't vote, so that isn't good enough.
Well, I don't know.
Really, finally, I've got to ask you. Well, maybe that'll change. I don't know. Certainly in Europe, they want to change that. Give me your prediction. How big is the red wave going to be? How much does it matter?
Well, it matters a lot because, first of all, you got to win the House. That would stop him. That's going to be a big win. I'd say north of 30 plus majority. And I think we'll take the Senate 52, maybe 53. Probably the night of the election, you might not know Georgia, and we'll be at 51. But I think, and it may be bigger. I mean, there's a chance it could just run away with itself because the number one issue is the economy, and the number two issue is crime. And you don't get to another issue for like 10 points. I mean, the people are worried, and the Democrats are trying to lie their way out of crime. They're trying to say that the Republicans are creating a crime frenzy. Yet you have records, like in Philadelphia, had more murders last year than ever in the long history of Philadelphia. And this year there's more. And every day there's a horrible crime. Like, for example, today in the Post, there's a woman at a Hochul rally being choked. She's literally being choked by a big man. There's another person that was almost pushed on a subway. There were 5 shootings last night and a rape. These are not made up. And they're arguing that it's exaggerated.
No, well, I tell you what. Well, the voters, Rudy, the voters will judge tomorrow. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
You're correct. And we never know until they vote.
Very, very soon. They will judge.
Thank you, Nigel.
Judge. Thank you, Rudy.